Miami Heat went up 1-0 in the series with a gigantic second half, mainly a big third quarter. They dropped 39 points. And Sammy, I don't think I've ever seen a time where a team had that many steals in a row. I mean, people are like, well, Marcus Smart and Al Horford. And I'm like, and Jason Tatum was the one who threw away the ball a million times. So it's not like those two guys would have changed that. I just thought the Miami Heat locked in. They had a 5-day or 3-day rest or whatever. And they came back and locked in the second half. Great halftime adjustments by Eric Spoelstra, and Jimmy Butler took over.
Yeah, and they definitely looked like the fresher team down the stretch, second half. Boston obviously missing some players, but wonderful defensive play on both sides of the ball. I mean, there was tons of block shots, tons of steals, great plays in the lane. In the end, they just played a tough game 7 2 days ago. No one really thought Boston was going to come out and have, a little bit more pep in their step for a 60-minute game, 48-minute game. This is the game Miami's supposed to win, and we'll see what happens in game 2 when those guys come back. But if you're a Miami fan, you have to be happy today. You have to be happy with that second half performance.
I think everyone in the universe is happy because we're all Miami Heat fans, and that's what counts. I will say this. I thought the game couldn't have gone better for Miami. The fact that PJ Tucker came back was great. I was so happy that he was not injured, although he still was kind of limping late in the game. But really, what was impressive to me was Gabe Vincent. I always say we plug and play these guys, and Gabe Vincent, who's been he's been good, but he hasn't been that good all season long. And what he just became a sniper last night. That to me was incredible. Bam Adebayo's defense stepped up in the second half, which is also incredible. Going forward, I keep saying, and I'll give it to you now, Jason Tatum cannot keep saving this team. There was too little Jaylen Brown too late. He was making some nice threes late, but that game was over. Jason Tatum has these stretches like Tobias Harris, where he just doesn't show up, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Jason Tatum is the superstar that definitely is the engine that makes that team run. But their advantage in this series, if they're going to win this series, has to be from behind the arc. And while Marcus Smart doesn't shoot it wonderfully, he does shoot it. And while Al Horford doesn't shoot it wonderfully, he also shoots it. And he also gets rebounds for them. So missing those two pieces, as well as, having some not so fresh legs, definitely hurts Boston's chances in game 1. As the series goes on, I think that evens out a little bit more. And when those guys come back, Boston will give them a little bit better of a performance. But, I mean, the basketball is in its whole, these last couple games have been nothing but blowouts. So, I mean, I expected this game not to be that close. And, once Miami took over in the second half, you could just see this was going to fall off for Boston the rest of the game.
And, of course, I didn't tweet it out, but I was thinking to myself, we're up by 20-some points right now. One thing Miami does is we like to let a team come back just to think they have a little chance. It's really impressive. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go, come back. We only won by 11. I'll take it, though. A win's a win. We're 1 away. We're 3 wins away from winning this thing, and the first one was nice to have.
Absolutely. And if, as a betting person, I will tell you that I'm going to bet Boston in the series now that they're dog in the series. I think this is a good spot if you're going to bet Boston. So I'm still not a believer, but I'm open-minded.
You go ahead and go and throw away your money. I'm all for it. You can do that.
Okay.
I'm telling you, something about this Miami team is a little bit different, and people don't realize their defense is so good, their chemistry is great, but their offense can play as well. Like when Jimmy Butler's on it, he's one of those guys where you can put a hand right here in his face and hide him from the rim. He's still going to snipe it. Tyler Hero, once again, the Celtics had a game plan for that guy, and once again, Tyler Hero showed up. He really kept us afloat in the first half.
I mean, Jimmy Butler is the star, and he's a superstar. And I said yesterday, he is criminally underrated because everybody knows he's got to be good for them to win, and yet he out-hustles and outperforms everybody on the defensive end trying to guard him. I mean, he's everywhere on the court. It's incredible how many loose balls he gets, how many times in the right spot, making the right play. I mean, it's hard not to root for a guy like Jimmy Butler. He does everything so well. And if he has another game like that, they're going to win again. I mean, 40 points from Butler is definitely a key factor for Miami winning the series.
Jimmy Butler, I believe it was either Mark Jackson or Stan Van Gundy. I think it was Mark. Mark Jackson was like, this guy has improved his game so much. And it's hard to guard guys who can shoot the three and lay it up. But when you have the mid range, you fight on defense, you have the three, you have the dunks, you have everything going for you. It's almost impossible to defend. Like, what is he going to do? You don't know.
Yeah, and he's everywhere. I mean, you find him diving on the floor more than most superstars. He fights for rebounds on both ends of the floor. And like you said, I mean, he gets to the rim pretty easily, super athletic, and now he's improved his shooting stroke. He is definitely a bona fide star, and like I said, criminally underrated.
Now, for Boston in game 2, what guy do you want to see step up that's not named Jason Tatum? I would like to see more consistency from Jason Tatum. Like I said, he's better than Tobias Harris, so don't get me wrong when I say that. But I still would like to see him not take complete quarters or even halves off. So plus Jason Tatum, who steps up in game 2, and why do you think? I'm guessing you're saying Boston's going to win it.
I do think Boston can win that game. I think that game will be a lot closer, both not just in the final score, but in the actual competition of the game. Marcus Smart, I think, is the key for them. Getting him back out on the court, healthy, creating havoc, and then hitting the occasional three, I think, does make a big difference for how that team runs. It also gives Tatum a little bit of a rest on the defensive end. Not having to be on Jimmy Butler any of the time, being able to put Marcus Smart on him sometimes. I think just his presence on the court really changes the dynamic of that Boston team.
It's a fair point. I still think we're going to win in 6, but Sammy's got Boston in 6. I'll be fine.